Okay, wait, is this where I'm supposed to go? Okay. Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is the center of the star. Wait, did I do that right? Over the course of this documentary, I'm going to be taking you all on a journey from the beginning of my career through all of my eras, all the way till now, where I'll be showing you how I've been preparing for my biggest tour yet, the Hyperstar Tour. So my debut era was for my album Messy, my first album, and it was the first time I had made music that wasn't in a group. I think one of my biggest concerns was songwriting because I wasn't really confident in that because I didn't really write a lot of the songs in my group. So when it came to becoming a soloist, I was like, okay, a lot of solo artists, they write their own songs. They have a lot of themselves in their music. And so I wanted to try and do that, but I didn't really know how to. And that's when I met my producers, Charlie and Ryan, and they really helped me. On the first day when I met up with them for a studio session, I was trying to think of things from my life, and I was like, Rachel, are there really no important memories or like emotions that you have that you could put into a song? And I mean, there were some, but I felt so inexperienced that even if I had ideas, they were like fragments of ideas. And I was like, this isn't going to work for a song. So my producers, they were just like, think of an interesting phrase that you think could be a good title for a song. And that's when I came up with Off of My Head. Because I don't know, I always thought that phrase was interesting because it draws back to like historical times. And so I tried to use like the historical times with the royalty and stuff like that for the music video later on when that happened. But yeah, when I came up with that, they were like trying to figure out ways to help me use Off of My Head in a more metaphorical sense. And so that's how we came up with the lyrics for that. So once we finished recording for the album, uh, we had to pick out the singles to promote the album. And so the lead single that we had was Frankenstein. And so that meant I had to film a music video for it. And when filming the music video, like before we started filming, I was kind of scared because I had never filmed a whole music video by myself because I had always filmed music videos with my group members. And those music videos weren't like stressful to film because it was like, okay, you would have your moments, then the other group members would have their moments, you would do participate in the choreography and stuff like that. But for this music video, since it was my solo debut, my team thought of like having there be a storyline. So because the song was called Frankenstein, we literally tried to have me be like the Frankenstein monster in a lab, and then like I woke up and I fought back against the people who were building me, and then I escaped from the lab. And I thought it was a really interesting concept, but I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to pull it off. I also wanted to make sure the music video still had choreography because I think that's a big part of me as an artist, and I wanted to show that part of myself for my debut music video. One of the funniest things that happened on the set of the Frankenstein music video shoot was that towards the end of the music video, my monster character starts lashing out and breaking everything in the lab. And so one of the structures in the lab I had to break, but once I was like, I was destroying it, and one of the blocks flew up and over and hit the camera that was we were using to shoot the music video, and the camera fell down. And so I was so scared I thought I broke it, and I was like asking the director, is the camera okay? Like, do we have to get a new one? And so the crew thought it would be funny to play a prank on me, and they went all the way to the back and grabbed this industrial like old big clunky camera, and they were like, okay, we're gonna use this to film since you broke the last camera. And I was so scared. I was like, did I really break it? I was like offering to pay. I was like, and then they told me that the old camera was fine and it was just a joke. And it was funny, but I was kind of out of it for the rest of the shoot. But I got it done, so it was okay. One of my favorite things about the Messy era was the Messy tour. It was my first tour, and I was so happy about it because I was going to be able to meet all of my fans and get to perform these songs that I had worked so hard on. And it was 8 nights, so it was good for me because it was like a good introduction to touring, but also I still felt like it was worthwhile. The first show that I did for the Messy tour was in LA, which is my hometown, and it just felt so surreal to me because I grew up there, and now I felt like as a solo artist, now achieving my dreams, getting to live out my dreams, I was able to come back, and it was just a really fun experience, especially when I started off the show with my first song. Like, the crowd's energy was so good, and I was just really happy about it. One of my favorite parts of the Messy tour was the intermission because it was a Q&A, and so as I was answering the questions, I felt like I got to be more connected with my fans. But also, for the first 2 nights of the tour, I previewed the Incoherence music video and I showed it to the crowd at the tour. And the reception to it was so crazy. Like, they were so excited for every scene, especially when I was dancing through the choreography at the beginning when I was on top of the car. Like, it was just so fun. And when I released the music video, the reception to it was so good. And I felt that my fans really liked it and that it was just really popular within the fan base. And so I was just really happy that I was able to get to make a music video that would be so special to everyone. Filming the music video was such a crazy experience because I think the mission for that music video was just to do the craziest things because this is the last music video of the Messy era. And so I was just like, I'm gonna go all out. I did a bunch of choreography, I got a bunch of extras, and they were all so nice. And of course, I stood on top of a car that was floating in the air. And there was like this rig, and like during the music video, the rig, like, I got on top of it and I was like on top of the car and I was so scared. Like, I know my harness wasn't breaking, but in my mind, it kind of felt like it to me. And so I was trying to lip sync and like sing my lines, but I was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, get me off with this thing, please. But it was really fun, and the Incoherence music video and the song will always have a really special place in my heart. For Passion Fruit, I think I want to pick songs that you could tell were from the original album, but when you listen to them, it feels like they have their own identity. And I think the songs I really want for Passion Fruit are Tragedies and Tortures from my first album and Moonwalker from my second album. But besides those two, I think any song is good. I think it's going to be really interesting for Heatwave because we already have 16 songs that were released, but we were just creating so much that we still have so many options to use for Passion Fruit. I think the songs that will work the best for the tour would be Love Again because it really shows her performance side, and Honey on the Vine because since it's a song about her hometown, it would give her more of a connection with her fans while she's on stage and while she's performing and while they're listening to the song. I do think that Love Again is a good performance song for the tour, but I kind of feel like the point of the intermission is to have one part of the show that's unique to every show. And so every fan feels like they had a unique experience when they went to the Hyperstar Tour. And so I think Honey on the Vine would work better for that. Yeah, I think that sounds good. And then for Starstruck, I think our main options are Spirits of the Night and Blood Moon, which were originally on the album, but we took them off. And then The Lights too. I think we took Blood Moon off the album and replaced it with The One Who Could because they sounded similar. So I don't really think it would make sense to include Blood Moon for this project. Yeah, so then that just gives us Spirits of the Night and The Lights. I think for Passion Fruit, I really just wanted to give songs that were overlooked in the past a chance to be in the limelight now. And I feel like Spirits of the Night was on some of the original track lists. It was supposed to be on the album at some point, but The Lights was never really considered that much. And so I feel like now would be a good chance to give the song an opportunity to be spotlighted. Okay, so now we have Tragedies and Tortures, Moonwalker, Honey on the Vine, and The Lights. So which song should we pick to be the lead single? I feel like Honey on the Vine and The Lights work best for the tour, so I don't think we should make those the lead single. I think Tragedies and Tortures did kind of start this whole thing, but I feel like Moonwalker's a better representation of what the project is about, so I would probably want to pick that. And I think it's a more upbeat song, so I feel like it would create more excitement for the movie and for Passion Fruit. Okay, well, thank you guys for helping me plan for Passion Fruit. I don't think it would turn out good without you guys, so thank you. I just need to do Let's Run Away Together so I don't mess it up on the tour, and then I'll be good. I've never done choreography for this song, so I feel like I'm just not getting it down. And I feel like for this performance, I have to rely more on myself to make it interesting. But in some of the other ones, it's like me and the dancers, we kind of are pieces of a puzzle. And when we all work together, it makes the performance good. But that's not how this one's going. I feel like we could be something if you let. Yeah, that's where I get tripped up. I need to do it like away from the mirror so I actually know I know what I'm doing. We could be something if you let us, if you let us go. We could wait, is that how it goes? Wait, I think I'm remembering. Like, I think the whole thing is different. It's like, and then I think it repeats. And then it's like, I have to go somewhere else. Like that. Like, I feel like I've never had this issue before. Where I just had to go in practicing really late at night. I feel like I'm still not getting it down. And the performance is like really soon. And I'm like trying not to disappoint anyone. But I don't want to wait until the next time I meet with my choreographer because I feel like I should know the choreography by now. I'm gonna be here all night. Oh my gosh. So after my debut era came my second era for my sophomore album, Afterglow. And I kind of feel like my intention when I made Messy was kind of different from my intention when I made Afterglow. For Messy, my goal was just to kind of get my name out there and like establish myself as a soloist. But I feel like when it came to Afterglow, my main goal and my main priority was kind of to make this vision and like execute a concept for the album. For Afterglow, I kind of wanted everything to be very consistent. And so I tried to make the soundscape very cohesive, and I think you can hear that throughout all the tracks. But I also wanted the visuals and the visual theme to also be very cohesive and consistent. And so I tried to make the mood of the album very wintry because the album came out in the winter, and so um I thought it was a good idea to relate the mood of the album to the season in which everyone will be listening to it in. But I also tried to make sure I used purple as the representative color for it because I thought that fit the soundscape of the album really well. And I thought having one color to associate with the album would give it even more of an identity. I think filming the music videos for Afterglow was really fun. Uh, I really enjoyed the Can't Live Without Me music video because I got to do fight choreography, and that's not something I've ever done before. So it was good to try something new, and it made me feel really confident. So, and it looked cool on camera too. For the album's promotions, we decided to merge the music videos of the first two singles, Raindrops and Can't Live Without Me. And I thought that was interesting because it kind of upped the stakes for the album, and it was kind of meant to show everyone that I would be back, and I would be back better, and I would be ready to show everyone a new side of me that we hadn't seen before in my last album. After the album was released and we finished with all the promotions, I went on my first world tour called the Afterglow World Tour, and I was so excited for it because I had never been on a world tour, and I was gonna get a chance to travel to so many different cities like that are so far away from where I live that I'd never been before, and it was just, I was so excited to like have all of those experiences. The tour was 16 shows long. 8 of the shows were abroad and 8 of the shows were in the US. And I think my favorite city was London because number one, that's where the Afterglow World Tour concert film was filmed. So that was really exciting for me. But also I remember like there was a memory there. There was like this group of fans, and like after the show ended, they were just waiting because it was raining outside, like it was raining really bad, and they were kind of waiting in this corner, and I was going around the like the venue trying to make sure that I didn't leave anything, like trying to help clean up and stuff like that, and I heard them singing, and so I went up to them and I started singing with them too. They were singing some of my songs from Afterglow, and when I came up to them, they were so surprised and they were so excited, and it was so nice because like they took a video with me with them singing, and they took some photos, and um it was just a really fun experience because it just kind of registered to me that like I actually have fans that are supporting me for what I do and for me doing what I love, and that was just the best feeling. So some of the backup dancers said that they had scheduling conflicts with night one of the tour. So should we hire other dancers to fill in for them, or should we just continue the show with less dancers for that night? I just feel bad about it because I had to move some of the dates of the tour because I was sick. And so now it's just creating all of this stress, and now all everyone's schedules has to be clear and everyone has to be flexible because I'm not on top of it. And I know another dancer said they're not going to be here for night 4 either because I had to move that date. So I think we just I think I just want to appreciate the dancers that I already have, and I just want to move forward with the show with however many dancers are there so we don't have any more issues. Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, I feel like if anything else happens, I just need to go through it. Like, this is a lot. I can't move shows again. I just need to push through it and just hope for the best. And if it really gets that bad, I'll just have to say, like, I can't do this anymore. Hi. This looks so good. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're having fun in the US. I am. Okay, so I think you know that I'm going on tour soon, and one part of the intermission for the tour is called the Alliance Song, where I perform a different one of my collaboration songs at each night. And so I was wondering if you wanted to perform Heatwave with me for the nights that I perform that song. Oh my gosh, yes! I've never been on tour before. That would be so fun, thank you. No, thank you, because I honestly don't know how you do that long flight over the ocean. It's actually fine, I just go to sleep. And also, if you want to, you can prepare a set and open for me during the tour for the nights that you're there. Thank you. I've actually never been on a tour. ever. That's so wild to me. But I'm so down for that. So I'm gonna start getting to work. Yay, I'm so excited. Me too. So after I finished with the Afterglow World Tour, I was kind of confused on what to do next because I was so proud of my first two albums and my first two eras that I was like, what else is there even for me to do? And then I kind of eventually started thinking if Afterglow was an album for the winter, then maybe I can make an album for the summer. And so that's kind of how Heatwave started. I also wanted to make an album for my hometown, LA, because I had such good memories at the LA show for the Afterglow World Tour that I was like, I felt like I needed to express that part of me too on an album. When I was writing songs for Heatwave, one of the first things that came to my mind was like this idea of making a fun sounding sad song. And I didn't really get a chance to do that for any of my previous albums. And I thought, okay, if we're gonna do a summer album, which is already gonna be happy and fun, then I might as well use this idea. And I think that's what resulted in me making Good Enough. During the Heatwave sessions, I was writing so much and I just had so many ideas and I loved working with the Heatwave concept and theme. And so one day I just thought, what if we make a deluxe? And so I asked my producers, and they were like, okay, we can make more songs because I had already made 8 songs, which is how many songs I had on Messy and Afterglow. And so that was just going to be the standard edition. But I wanted to have more songs, so we wrote 2 more, and those were going to be used in something else too. But then I was like, okay, what if I write 2 more songs? And so there was just supposed to be a 4 song deluxe, which was going to be the Renaissance edition. But I ultimately just kept on writing so much that I ended up with 4 more songs for the album and even more songs that weren't included on the album. And so it turned the Renaissance edition into a double album, which I was really excited about. I think I liked that it was a double album because I feel like Heatwave, the standard edition, is kind of the party. Like you're having fun, being carefree, not thinking about too much. And then I think the Renaissance edition is kind of like the reflecting that you do after the party. A little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of memories, a little bit of like wanting to create those feelings on your own. And so I felt like they both worked with so well with each other that I couldn't imagine Heatwave without the Renaissance edition. For this album, I was trying to think of different ways to promote it because for the past 2 albums, I did the traditional release some singles before the album and then release the album and then release a single afterwards and then go on the tour. But I wanted to do something different, and that's kind of where I came up with Heatwave the Musical because I thought it would be interesting to incorporate acting with like music videos and things like that. And I think it turned out really well. For Heatwave the Musical, I had music videos for all 8 of the songs from the standard edition of Heatwave, and then music videos for Full Moon and Love Lore from the Renaissance edition because I thought those songs' lyrics would fit really well with the storyline and with what was happening in the musical. One of the main concerns I had when I was planning for Heatwave the Musical was that Rosie, who's featured on the song Heatwave, lives all the way in the UK. So I wasn't sure if she was going to want to come down to Los Angeles to film the music video with me, but when I called her about it, she was so nice and she said she would fly down, and working with her on the set of the music video was so fun. She was so nice about everything, and I showed her around the city afterwards, and it was a really fun experience, and I love working with her. After I finished filming for Heatwave the Musical, I was planning to go on a tour, and it was going to be called the Ray Summer Tour, and it was supposed to be a festival tour that was supposed to be performed at only outdoor venues and festivals and things like that because I really wanted to give the tour a summer energy. But I think after I filmed Heatwave the Musical and going off of the fact that I had just released 2 albums, one on 2 tours for Messy and Afterglow, made a whole double album for Heatwave. I think I was just really tired, and we had a set list made for it, and I was working with choreography and stuff like that. But when it came time to like planning dates for the actual tour, I kept pushing everything off because I think I just felt so tired. And at some point, it was just like I didn't want to disappoint my fans by announcing a tour and then canceling it. So I just decided, let's just scrap the tour entirely, and then I hope that everyone would enjoy the musical and all the songs from Heatwave and the Renaissance Edition. And so I just decided I was going to take a break and relax so I could come back for my next tour better. And after that break, I started planning for my fourth album, my most recent era, Starstruck. Can you believe we're already on night 23 of the show? Like, that's crazy. And we're going to Stockholm, Sweden. We're gonna have fun. We've never been there before, ever. Like, I'm so excited. I just hope the show goes well. And we're having so much fun on this long plane ride. Hi. Hi, I'm just coming from the team to tell you that there were some scheduling miscommunications, and so some of the lighting equipment that was supposed to be here today is gonna be delivered late. I'm not I'm not really that surprised because the equipment group we were working with wasn't really receptive and they weren't really talking to us that much. So there has to be something going wrong. There has to be something going wrong. Did they give us a date of when it was supposed to be delivered? No, they just said it was gonna be late. So that means it could just not be here for the show. And that's not a possibility that I'm ruling out. So I just need to figure out something else to do. I just gotta move on. The team was saying we should probably postpone the show. I can't postpone the show again. I already had to move the first 5 nights of the tour because I was sick, and that was so bad. I feel like if I move tonight, it's gonna have to move next night and the rest of the nights for the leg, and it's just not gonna go well. So that means we just have to do the show without some of the lights. I'll just have to do that. I'm just gonna have to prepare to do the show without some of the lights, but we do have 2 days until the actual show, so maybe the equipment will be here by then. But thank you for telling me. I'm glad I know about it now, and we'll just keep going. Okay, so we're just gonna do a quick sound check to make sure the mic's working. Okay, I'll just pick a song to sing. Lost you, lost you, lost you, lost you. Ah. Wait, can you keep singing? Yeah, I think the mic's out. The mic's out? Yeah, when we had the mic connected, we couldn't hear you sing. First it's the lights, and then they finally get delivered, and now it's the mic. And it's the morning of the show, so this is so good. So we're gonna try and replace the mic, but for now, we're just gonna use a boom mic. Okay, thank you. So I'm just gonna have to project a lot. I just hope we don't have to use it for the show, but we've been through a lot already. One of the most notable things about the Starstruck album was that it was released as a surprise drop. I didn't have any singles released before it. I didn't have any announcements. I just released an announcement once all the songs were out. And I think I mainly did this because I also surprise dropped the Renaissance edition, and it was just kind of fun for me to not have like any pressure from singles, but also to kind of surprise everyone and like not get anyone's expectations up too high, but also kind of do a different rollout from how I did with my previous 3 albums. Convincing my company to let me do a surprise drop was kind of difficult because I think we were gonna have a lot of singles beforehand and it was gonna be like a big album, but I think for me, I just wanted it a little more toned down, and I think once they kind of realized where I was coming from, they let me do the surprise drop. So I was really happy about that. And I still was able to film the Dancing Through the Fire music video, which I really enjoyed. So it was a good experience. Right after we finished making the album, we started planning for the Starstruck tour, which is supposed to be kind of like my other tours where it's like the forefront is the album, but then I perform some songs from my older albums and stuff like that. But I felt like making the album was kind of a healing experience for me because I felt like my music was the most polished it had ever been. And I feel like, especially because we were gonna do a surprise drop, I was just confident in my music and like the team that was surrounding me instead of like being worried about expectations from singles and stuff like that. And so I felt like it was kind of like I felt like I was accomplishing something really big, and I felt that it was kind of the end of an era. So I felt the tour needed to reflect that and be like a big celebration. So that's why we decided to change the Starstruck tour to something bigger, which is the Hyperstar Tour. I think my main goal for the tour was to give every one of my albums and every one of my eras their own chance in the limelight, especially Heatwave and Starstruck because they hadn't been toured before. The first draft I had for the Hyperstar Tour was called the Seasons Tour, and it was supposed to be me associating each one of my albums and each one of my eras to a different season in the year based on which season the album was released in. So Messy was supposed to be spring, Afterglow was supposed to be winter, and Heatwave was supposed to be summer. And so Starstruck was supposed to be autumn or fall, but the album didn't get released then. It was supposed to be released then, but the release date got pushed back, and so it released in the winter. And so I was like, that's not gonna work with the theme of the tour, so I had to come up with something different. So I had to come up with a new idea for the tour, and this is when I came up with the idea for the Hyperstar Tour, and it being more of like a chronological journey throughout each one of my albums. So I used the different rays of the star, the hyperstar that I had imagined to symbolize each part of the album, and then the center of that star would be for the intermission where I would perform surprise songs, unreleased songs. And I really just enjoyed the space imagery and the idea of a spaceship taking everyone on a journey through my different albums and my different eras and showing everyone my favorite parts and what made each era so special to me. I think through the Hyperstar Tour and through Passion Fruit and how it all kind of combines into one Hyperstar era, I think I really just want to show everyone how far I've come and where I was before and where I am now, and how it's the same, but it's also different. But I love every part of the journey either way. And I think it's just really important for me to have this celebration to close off the Hyperstar era so that I can move on through different parts of my journey and have more eras in the future. And I think that's just really special to me. And I think the Hyperstar Tour is one of the best things I've made so far. Hi everyone, I just wanted to tell you all that they fixed the mic situation, and so we have a new mic. We don't have to use the boom mic, and there aren't going to be any changes to the show. So I hope we all do well, and I hope you all do well, and I'm so excited for tonight. Love you all. See you at the show. Hi. Oh my gosh, hi Rachel. Hi. Hi. What did you guys think about the show? Oh my god, it was so good. My favorite album's Afterglow, so when you landed on the magic ray, I was so happy. I love Afterglow too. We're twins. What were you all hoping for the intermission? Because I know I performed The Lights and Ultraviolet and New Romance, but I wonder, what did you all want? I really wanted to hear Tragedies and Tortures. Like, I was so ready to cry a bit. I know this is like a slower song, but if you had performed Sleep Falling for the Solstice song, I think I would have been speechless, actually. I actually haven't done Sleep Falling this whole tour. I need to get on that. I'm so glad you reminded me. Was performing Ultraviolet fun? Yes, because I love Serenity and I just love that song. And I was already in an Afterglow mood because that's the era right before the intermission. Does anyone want to take a picture? Oh my gosh, yes, we should. Here's my phone. Thank you. Okay, are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was so good. I love you, my X-rays. Thank you all so much for coming. Bye, Rachel. Bye. Mwah. Wait, was that good?